Hey guys, Adam here. Hope you're all doing okay under the circumstances. I wanted to make a very different type of video for you tonight because over the last few days I've noticed that there's been a little bit of a air of lack of motivation from quite a few of you, and there's certainly something talking with just people in general at the minute that it's getting a little bit harder to get out of bed and continue on with things. So now that we are in this corona closure and we're certain of everything, I think we've all taken a minute and gotten over it, and the shock of everything's sort of dwindled out, and we're now in this position. So the feedback the last few weeks has been that it's getting a little bit harder and harder to do daily things. So I wanted, in that spirit, I wanted to try and make a video where hopefully you get some motivation and dare I say it, even a little bit of wisdom out of this, because what I want to try and do is fill you all with a sense of purpose and try and put a bit of positivity in your life, because I was very flattered over the last few weeks. I've been in touch with a few of you, and a lot of you have been asking me, how do you stay so positive? And I think, much like you, I've been affected, like everyone. So I'm very flattered that you all think that. I think I'm probably more like a duck on a pond, cool, calm and collected on the surface, but underneath the water, the feet are going a million miles a minute. So I was very flattered to hear that, and hopefully that's rubbed off on a few of you, but by no means do I credit myself for being a genius businessman or the world's best personal trainer. I'm not, but I do pride myself on being able to find the light in darkness, and hopefully this video enables you to do the same thing. And I'd like to preface tonight by saying I don't want this to come across as too preachy or American-y or Tony Robbins-y. So if you find that this isn't your cup of tea, then just exit out of it, because I don't want you to feel awkward. But I do want to say a few things, because whilst I certainly don't claim to be the world's most intelligent person, I do feel that my ability to stay positive and upbeat and just continue to smile through all of this, hopefully you might get something from that. And if you'll allow me tonight, I'd like to actually share with you a couple of things that I do personally that allow me to have this positive outlook on life. Now, I certainly don't want to make this a blab fest about me or anything like that, but I do think that you may be able to take something away from this, and my hope is that you finish watching this video and feel a sense of purpose, and you get that sense of motivation to get yourself out of bed every morning for the next few weeks and just get on with it and do it with a smile on your face and do it with passion, because at the end of the day, we are going to get through this. So I'd like to share a couple of things with you that I do on a daily basis that may really help you, and in doing so, I'm against my better judgment, am going to reveal something to you all about myself that only a select few of you know. And the theme, if you will, for this video, I would like to say in a word, is perspective. What I'm hoping I can do is give you all that ability to find a little bit of perspective right now in a day-to-day scenario, because it's in those day-to-day moments that we all need to find a little bit of perspective. We all need to find that bit of positivity to help us get through this day by day. So that said, I would like to share something about myself with you all, and I'm a bit nervous about doing this, but it is what it is. Those of you who know me well or on a personal capacity will know that I speak the truth here, in that behind closed doors, outside of this gym, I am a complete and utter nerd. I'm an absolute geek, and in my spare time and over the last few years, I've actually been studying a few things, and they are absolute passions of mine. And aside from running the gym and training you amazing people, my absolute love in life, believe it or not, and what I've been studying for the last 5 years, is astrophysics. And in doing so, I have learnt a great deal about the universe. And before I go any further, I'm totally mindful that we all believe and put our faiths in different things, and I don't want to discount that at all. But what science has enabled us to learn is that there are some things that we can unequivocally remove from discussion or argument. Some things we know for certain that have happened. And I don't want to dive into a discussion about that because that's not the point of this, and we'll get sidetracked there. But a few of my key learnings and takeaways from my studies I would love to share with you, because the understanding that I now have about our universe and how we were created has given me an enormous amount of perspective. And in the same way that I'm sure you all get out of bed, put your clothes on and brush your teeth every day, that's a daily ritual for you. For me, every single day, I choose to look at this perspective. In specific, this example that I'm about to give you. Now, the last few years that I've been studying this, I have learned a lot about what makes humans as a whole, what makes planets, what makes the universe, and what it's all comprised of. And I'm going to try and keep this as lighthearted and as enjoyable as possible without getting too nerdy. But a good example is, all you've got to do is look at our class names here. Oxygen, plutonium, carbon, hydrogen, krypton. They're all elements of the periodic table. So it's sort of like I'm leaving these breadcrumbs of nerdiness throughout the gym. But what I'd like to discuss with you tonight, very briefly, is how we have gotten to where we are. And again, there's a bit of a debate about this, but allow me to share you my perspective and take on this. 14 billion years ago, there was a massive Big Bang, and that scattered elements across the universe as we know it now. And all these elements that have built up over pressure and time have expanded and exploded out into our galaxy, and effectively the building blocks of life have been created. So things that we know and we can confirm without question, elements and molecules come together. Things like carbon, which is a really sticky element that sort of sucks everything in and sticks everything together. Oxygen, hydrogen. Effectively, the building blocks of life have been scattered across the universe and formed huge gas clouds that have collapsed, that have formed stars, that have then formed planets that have been able to sustain life. And what we know for certain is that at some point during this time, a couple of billion years ago, all these planets, once they've been created, have throughout time sort of bumped into one another, and specks of dust have scattered out. And again, these molecules have come together and formed life. But what I would like to do is share a very romantic idea that one of my personal idols, Neil deGrasse Tyson, shared in an interview once, and I'd like to expand on that. And that's that the universe, when it was created, and life as we know it on Earth, has come from planets colliding together and stars exploding and scattering dust out into the universe. Now, every single element and atom and molecule in your body can be traced back to some point in time. Now, there's debate amongst people in astrophysics and quantum mechanics about when this is, but to keep things really simple and fun for you. Life has been created on this planet about 1 billion years ago, let's say, give or take 1 billion years. Now, the fundamental elements inside this life that as we know it on Earth, have all come from the same place. And the elements within you are from that period where these planets and stars are colliding together and dust particles get scattered out into the universe. And effectively, this stardust that has thrown itself out into the universe is what has made life as we now know it. So I want to take a moment to highlight this, and I hope this gives you a little bit of perspective, that you are both literally and figuratively made of stardust. Every atom and molecule in your body has come from the universe. Now, I choose to look at that, and that fills me with a huge sense of hope and wonder, because that perspective, that chance, that 1 in a bajillion chance, those odds of us being here, the number isn't even quantifiable. that you are sitting here, watch me blab onto you in this YouTube video, the odds that you being here and having the ability, the physical ability to stand up, that you're not in a wheelchair, that you've got a wonderful family, that we live on the northern beaches, the odds of us being where we are at this point in time are, the number's not even quantifiable. Imagine a 1 with a bajillion zeros behind it. So I want you to take a little bit of a moment this week and find that perspective. And whether or not that rings truth to you, or whether or not perspective for you might come from just looking at your children or having a conversation with your parents or with your sister or your brother or your partner or whoever it might be, find a moment this week to choose to find the perspective in a situation. Another really, really romantic idea is that when I go out at night with my telescope and I look up at the stars and I look at planets and I look at galaxies, people that know me well often ask me the same question, and it's, aren't we just so small? Don't you just feel so tiny in a universe so immensely big? And it's funny because for me personally, it's the truth. It's the opposite, the polar opposite that's the truth. In that, knowing through my studies what I know about the universe and what we're comprised of, knowing that the universe and all these elements in my body can be traced back to some point in history from the universe, that we're all made of the same stuff, is actually a really larger than life feeling and doesn't make me feel small at all. It makes me feel like I can actually put a dent in the universe and I can actually have an impact here on planet Earth in Sydney, in Warriewood. I can actually do something that maybe inspires people. Maybe I can make a video that motivates people because I'm made of the same stuff that's up there. And that stuff, that stardust, that magic powder is actually inside of you. And your body is made up of some really, really special stuff. So find the perspective in that and choose to look at the scenario, this situation, any situation, your daily existence. Find a bit of silver lining. That perspective works for me. And knowing that the universe itself and us are actually sort of the same thing and made from the same special ingredients, to me is a very wonderful and hope-filling thought that we're actually part of something bigger. And it's not that what's inside of us that makes us different, it's what's inside of us in the universe that actually makes us all the same. So I hope that little Nerd Fest blurb allows you to find a little bit of hope and motivation this week. I want you all to try and pick a moment this week, whether it could be for some of you just getting out of bed, if that's a struggle, finding time to do your workout, meal prepping, spending time with your family, going to work, whatever it is, in those moments that you are struggling for motivation and for hope, find some perspective. You know, because at the end of the day, you've got some pretty special stuff in you. I hope to see you all online this week. Find some perspective, stay positive, and we'll see you all in the Matrix over the next few days.